Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intrusive Thoughts, and welcome to the year 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. It is so good to be here, and it's so good to be alive and well in this brand new year. We've done it, we've made it, and things are really looking up, They're really looking up. I'm feeling really good about this year. I'll be brutally honest about that. I am. I'm sitting right here in front of a Powerball ticket. I have it right here. I'll flash it to the camera. And I'll kind of hear the billowing of the breeze of the ticket. Yeah, I am a Powerball winner. Not the full sort of billion dollar total. It's a bit shy of that. It is sort of, redeem at your nearest place where you can redeem for $4. And I did sort of kind of lay down $10 for this ticket because I did just do a bunch of quick, maybe even more than 10. Maybe this is like it's a $20 ticket. But you know what? That was from last year. I'm bringing the winning energy into this year, right? I'm not thinking about how I'm $16 down. I'm thinking about how I'm $4 up. And that's why I have this ticket here. And let's see, it's from August 30th. Okay, so I'm a winner from back in August. The reason I haven't redeemed this ticket is because I don't know how to. Plain and simple. I don't know how to redeem. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Do you go to a gas station to do that? Or do you do that at the grocery store? I'm very unclear of how to redeem my winnings because it is important because I'm currently, like I said, you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm down or if I'm up because I'm up. I'm up. Huddle up and play. California game days. Scratchers are here. That's what it says. It doesn't matter what it says because what it means is that I have $4 waiting for me. I have $4 waiting to call me home. And that's kind of the energy I'm bringing into this year. Another thing I'm bringing into this year is I'm going to give less of a fuck. Okay, I'm going to give less of a fuck. And what I mean by that is I think people don't care about anything. Okay? They really don't. And I'm going to bring that energy of why should I care about anything? But I mean, I'm saying this in a way that sounds like you should probably care about something. And I do. I really do care about things. But what I mean is if I want something, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to fake it till I make it. Because I'm going to make it. I am going to Mary Tyler Moore make it. I do believe that. We're going to get to some New Year's sort of topics as we get into the show. But I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things that are pretty topical for me right now in this moment. What did I do today? This is something, and I feel like people could help me out with this. And it's that I'm really looking for a good new slipper. Okay? And I'm a real big house shoe person. There's just something about wearing a shoe in the house that I feel like I can get things done. If my foot isn't if there's not a barrier between the sole of my foot and the floor, my body sees that as a signal of it's day off. It's day off. And I'm never in a barefoot around the house, right? My dogs are barefoot around the house because they're animals, they're dogs. I'm always in a sock. I'm a sock person. And that's making me think of something of when people post pictures of themselves and they're at home and they're in an outfit and then it's just bare feet. That really rubs me the wrong way. And I can't explain it, but I do think that when people do that, I'm you're a bit kinky and you should take that offline. Or you take it online to a different platform. Do you know what I mean? I just think that every single time I go, this is, it's a little porny for Instagram. It's a little bit much for a TikTok. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why I feel like I feel more scandalized by somebody being in a full head to toe outfit and then no sock, no shoe, barefoot in their own home. I feel more scandalized by that than I do like someone be like, get ready for me and they're like in truly their underwear. Right? If they're in their underwear down to like a bare foot, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I know how this goes. I know that they weren't born with clothes on. I know that they have to put, do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking myself into it, kind of sort of like into a corner. But like, it's within the context of like, of course the feet will be bare. Right? I knew that. But when I see them kind of posing for like, I'm just like at home, like it's like very like casual or like that's seemingly how they go about it. Like, I'm just at home. And then they choose to show their bare feet. That's where I'm like, that it feels like it's lacking decorum. And I know that like what I'm saying is absolutely insane, right? Like, I'm talking about like truly just seeing people like butt naked, and I'm like, it's okay until you put clothes on. But then when I see those piggly wigglies, I think that you're asking for attention, not even though it should be the opposite other way around. And I know people try to like, they do barefoot to like establish like comfort, home. I understand what they're doing, like casual. I just see it as like, that's pornography. And I always get like chills thinking about it. So yeah, I am a sock person at home, because I have dignity, that's what I call it, dignity. And so I am a slipper person. And I'll tell you that something happened, and I think we all know something happened. Do I know what happened? No, I don't know what it was, but something did happen, and it was dark. And I'm going to tell you what it was. And I think maybe like now we're talking like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I saved up my money and I bought myself a pair of UGG slippers. Okay. Now, this is important that like the timeline and when and, all of that stuff. 20 years ago, which that's insane that I can say that. And I was like a teenager 20 years ago. I was a teenager 20 years ago. Big breath in, big breath out. Okay. Whatever. I would literally never want to be a teenager again. Thank God it's not possible. Thank God it's not possible. But I remember I bought my very first pair of UGG slippers because I saw somebody who I perceived as like very rich, and they had a pair of UGG slippers, and they were like $60 at the time. I remember. Now remember, it's like 20 years ago, right? Like you can't even buy a piece of shit from the UGG company that's less than $100. And I'm going to get to that. So I bought them, and I loved those slippers, and those slippers were like my prized possession. And I used those slippers almost every day for 7 years. I remember 7 years. I used them for every day for 7 years. And the only reason I got rid of them was not even that they were like falling apart. I got rid of them because they were looking a bit, they were a sight for sore eyes. Okay. They weren't falling apart, but they were disgusting. I don't know the technical way to put that, but like they were atrocious. And so I was gifted a new pair by a friend of mine for a Christmas. And she said, I think it's time. And I said, do you? Because I had worn the sort of sheep skin all the way down. So it was just like leather. Like the whole thing had leathered over, but in a way that was, like I said, just abysmal, horrible. But they were comfortable. They were very comfortable. And so I said, it's time. And so I switched into the new ones. I got rid of the old ones, and the new ones lasted maybe 5 months tops before like seams were popping, and the sheepskin was just like not it was getting like, it was gone. It was gone. And I don't know what happened. It's not like I was like harder on these pair of slippers, right? The very famous sentence and correct sentence in English. I wasn't harder on these pair of slippers, but something about them like just fell apart. And I said, you know what? I'll just get a new pair. Because by that time I had, they were maybe $80 then. Because I'm talking like 10 years and now I'm talking almost like 10 years ago now. $80. I'm dropping $80 on these. And so I put them on and I go, okay, here we go. And something about them that then the bottom I'm like, this is cardboard, right? This is not a nice thing that I'm putting on. This is a piece of junk, something that's like landfill bound. Okay, we know that. I know that. Like, I'm putting this on. I'm going, it's like a piece of thick cardboard, right? Like, they put this on the backing of like a toy. This is thick cardboard. This is an Amazon box with a leather coating over it. And cotton blend? I don't know. It was not sheepskin, but there was some like furry bits. Okay, like. And those those slippers lasted me about 3 or 4 months before, it's a disaster, junk. But, I held on to them because I was like, I guess UGG company is like bad. And by that, I mean like dishonest. Okay. So then like, let's fast forward to like 5 years ago. Okay. 5 years ago, we're on TikTok, we're scrolling, and then all of a sudden you see some sort of like laureate journalist get on there. And by that, I mean a 17-year-old child who's going, did you know that the company is not really the company that they are anymore? And blah, blah, blah. Like, and they're going all this. And I'm going, okay, enough, quiet. First of all, calm down. And I watched the video again. And they're telling me that UGG is a term of a shoe, right? Like, it's not even a company. But that this American company bought the word UGG, UGG. And again, please, you look this up on your own if you're wanting like facts. Okay, I'm giving you like what I remember. I'm giving you like coffee table chit chatter. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's wrong. I don't know if it's true. How about that? And so this is like, don't trust me, right? Just like hear me out. And they're saying that like this American company bought and they trademarked it. So these different Australian brands could not sell Uggs, which like is just like what they call these different types of like furry woolen shoes in Australia. Okay. Like, is this making sense to you? I hope so. But basically, if you want the real Uggs, is what they said. If you want the real Uggs, you need to go to Uggs since 1974. I said, all right, let me just check this out. And so there's a company called Uggs since 1974. And I went to the website, I went through it, and I said, I'm going to order myself a pair of slippers from Uggs since 1974. And I did. And this is like 2 or 3 years ago. And those slippers are great. They have like a rubbered bottom. This is like nice material. The sheepskin has like lasted for quite a while. And I treat these things poorly. Like I'm getting out of the shower and I'm putting, and I know it's bad. You don't need to tell me twice. I'm putting a wet foot inside of a woolen slipper, right? Listen, a wet foot inside of a sheepskin slipper is going to wear that thing down to the bone, right? You're going to be bone on bone. And you're going to wear that sheepskin straight up out of town. I know that. You know that. The Australians know that. UGG, the American company, trademark wars, they know that. And they want that. The American company fucking wants that. They want to set you up. So you're just smacking down $80 every time. You got a loose thread. You pull it, the whole thing falls apart. They're blue. They're all these obscure colors, that famous obscure color of blue. The American company of UGG has like the ugliest fucking slippers And I know this because I bought one of them because I went, oh, that's cute, until I got it and then got so mad at it. And so the ugliest slipper from the UGG American company is blue, and it says across like the bridge of your foot, UGG, UGG. That's what it says. UGG, UGG. That's what it says across the foot. And it's, I don't know. That was like from a time in my life when I was like, oh, the labels are cute. Do you know what I mean? I used to think that. Now, like if I see a label on my clothes, I want to barf and I want to vomit. I don't know labels, nothing. Okay, that's what I want. I'll do like some merch here or there. I'll do that. Sometimes I do like that because I'm like, oh, isn't that cute? I'm supporting this up and coming brand, right? And by that, I mean Lululemon, because that's like the brand I'll wear because I'm like, I like Lululemon. This up and coming brand, Viore, right? Like that, you know me, I'm just like shop local, whatever. Okay. I want you to know that what I am through and through. Now I'm like revealing all the secrets. Not that this is a secret. I'm a Uniqlo guy through and through. Everything I have is Uniqlo, basically. This sweatshirt, which I'm going to get to this in a second. I don't think we should be wearing sweatshirts anymore in 2020. I'm done seeing like lazy people sitting on the couch in sweats. We get it. Put on a pair of slacks. Okay, put on a collar. Wear an undershirt. I'm at least wearing an undershirt underneath this because I like, you know, I have some etiquette. People lack it. They do. Oh, God. Put your shoes on. Brush your hair. Take a shower. You don't need to wear a hoodie. You can wear something form-fitting. Why are you so scared of your own silhouette? Like, don't be like that. All right, back to my slippers. Slippergate. So I ordered these slippers from UGG since 1974. All right. Oh, I have a peanut M&M stuck in my throat. I'm all good. That's lucky, by the way. That's really lucky. I have a peanut M&M stuck in my throat. It's okay. I'm back. So these slippers I get from UGG since 1974. They're great. I love them. But it is time. Like they're worn out. And I want to get new ones. And I'm like, wouldn't it be nice to have some new slippers for the new year? And I thought this, I think maybe last year. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to buy a pair of like the UGG boots, right? Like the classic like UGG boots, but I'm getting like the real ones from like UGG since 1974, okay? And I'm getting a pair of new UGG slippers. So I'm buying two things. And it's a bit pricier, okay? It's a little bit pricier. And by that, I mean like I think the boots, I think like in total, it was like $350 Australian. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. That's monopoly money, and that's a charge that like I will deal with on the Amex bill in a month. Right, this is back in the day, and by that I mean like a year ago. And so because this is coming from Australia, it's going to take a minute, right? Because you're dealing with like it's a mom and pop shop, basically. That's what I'm thinking it is. Well, first of all, they acted like it. Okay, they acted like very like I was emailing with customer service, which I will get to why I had to do that. So I put my order in. Everything's looking good. I get an email like your order is on its way. And so I'm quite excited because I'm going to get my new since 1974 UGG slippers and UGG boots that I can't wait to like wear on the morning walks when I'm walking my dogs. Like I couldn't wait to do that. That's what I planned for myself, what I wanted. And so I am looking for the box and it says delivered and signed for. That's crazy because it wasn't ever delivered and nobody signed for it. And so I'm like, this can't be right. So I email them and I'm like, hey, like I never got this box. It says it was delivered. It says it was signed for. Like I never signed for it, all of this stuff. And they sent me an email and they said, oh my God, sorry. Well, and first of all, if I were them, I'd be like, okay, fuck off. Like, it's not my fault you didn't get your box. But because it's happening to me, I feel like I cannot risk ordering something from Australia to have $350 just gone, right? Like, as I said, I have a lottery ticket. It's a winning one, $4. That's still like $346 to go, right? And if I have to do this by lottery tickets, it's going to take me a lot of money. I'll be way more than $350 down. It cost me $20 to get 4. Right? And like, again, I'm like leaving that loss in last year and I'm bringing the winnings into this year. That's the way that I'm framing it. But yeah, so that was about a year ago. So I'm still in my UGG since 1974. And I'm bringing all of this up because today I'm recording this in the year 2025, if you even remember it at this point. And I had a friend of mine and I asked her, she's very trustworthy. And I said, what's the slipper that we're like using? And she said, we're using this brand called Stegman's. And she said, you can trust me because I used to date a guy who lived in a mountain village. And I said, say no more. You're right. I can trust you. I went on the website. The products look immaculate. They're wool based, right? There's no sheepskin, right? It's wool. And that's important because you're not going to wear down the wool, right? You're not going to wear that down. I ordered them in what I thought was my size. And I said, first of all, let me backtrack. I said, you got it. You got it, girl. You are not with that man anymore, but at least you did gain some knowledge from that relationship. You learned about yourself and you learned where to get the best slippers in fucking town. So I said, okay, who am I? Who am I? I asked her, who am I? Yeah. No, but I said, who am I to not follow the directions of my friend who obviously knows better in this circumstance? Because I was trying to, buy abroad, right? Now think of it. If I was trying to do it now, the tariffs. Okay. Thanks, Trump, by the way. The tariffs on those since 1974. And then there's a fucking thief in the neighborhood who's just signing for things willy-nilly. That sounded like the way that it was like delivered and signed for sounded like that was stolen from the delivery truck driver. It was quick. I was like outside waiting for the truck. Never saw it. I don't even know what wasn't coming. It was coming from like a DHL. It's coming from one of those like tricky ones from like abroad where it's like, no, we work because we're German. Like, it's like, I don't know if DHL is German. They just give off like a German vibe. But sometimes you need a FedEx truck coming to the house just for a little bit of security. I needed that because I didn't need like, World News Tonight sending like a package. DHL is always a little. And listen, if you know something about DHL that I don't, be my guest and share it. But I just don't really kind of fuck around with the DHL. I'm a FedEx kind of person if I can be. UPS seems like second tier to me. I don't know. I just don't like the brown trucks. Feels really good to get this off my chest. Anyway, so I ordered these Stegman slippers. And I ordered them, like I said, in what I thought was my size. I get them. It's like they're so tight. They look like they're for an American Girl doll. They're not the right size. I know that. Like, I'm seeing that. It's just like it's pretty obvious right in front of me. It's not the right size. I go and I can just do like a return exchange. I go, I'm going to do it. I show them to JP. I'm walking around. He goes, those can't be for you. I go, yeah, they are. Who else would I buy? I wouldn't get them for you. Right? I'm getting something for myself, please. Which I always do. My famous move to get something for myself. I want to treat myself. It's fine. So what I decided to do next was I said, these look really small. He goes, yeah, I would like, I'm like, should I go up half a size, a full size? He's like, I would do a full. I'm like, you are completely right. You're a genius. So I go upstairs. I get on my computer, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack on the keyboard. I don't know if you can hear that. But it was me like pantomiming, clicking on the keyboard. I got nervous that I was stopping the recording for a second. We good. We're all good. I exchange. I'm going from an 8, which is my U.S. legal size, how I'm recognized by the government, a size 8 men's shoe. And I decide that I'm going to order a size 9 because they said it might be a bit snug. Well, okay, yeah, it might be. I'm going up one full size, American size. So I get the size 9s and I just got to be honest. I don't like the way they fit. So I had to return them today. And I'm going to tell you the problem for me is like, I like to slide on a shoe. Okay. I don't believe in the shoes where it's like, you can step on the back if you want. And you know what I'm talking about, right? There's like some slides where it's like, you could like put it over your heel where it looks like a Tom, if you remember that. And if you don't remember Toms, they're basically like the ugliest canvas shoes that like money can buy, and they were like $500 a piece. Not 500, but they were like $100, and they were pieces of garbage, and I loved them. I really did love them. I had Toms that like had laces, and I had one that was like a straw, like truly like Scarecrow from Oz, right? Like, and I really loved those shoes. They were pretty comfortable. You know, they look very like Jason Mraz singing I'm Yours. Like, that's what that shoe really looks like. It looks like, you know, Fedora and Jason Mraz. Like those, that's what, like, when I think of, close my eyes and think of Toms, I think of like Jason Mraz, like patchy beard, Toms, Fedora, white t-shirt, puka shells. Jason Mraz. It's like, that's what I think of when I think of Toms. And so basically you can buy slippers that have like, it's Tom's level of thickness of shoe where you can just slide it and you just step on the back. I fucking hate that. I need like a full open back. And with these Stegmans and a lot of the slippers that I'm seeing, it's like you put the foot in and it's like a full open back, but they have like this like little like bare like lip. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like there's like something against the back of your heel, but it's like half an inch. And nothing was going to drive me closer to insanity than this little half an inch of like woolen trim hitting the back of my, it would be like Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven, the click clacking of the clock. Like this would be my 13th reason. The little woolen trim from the Stegman clog slippers. This would be it. I'd go, where are the knives? And I'd cut my own foot off before I would like whatever. So anyway, sorry to the Stegman brand. I didn't really like the slippers. But they're amazing quality. If that wouldn't bother you, you should get them. But it bothered me to the point of almost insanity. And so I had to return them. So I'm still back on my Ugg since 1974, and I would totally order another pair of like Ugg since 1974. But the lack of fucking care that they had for me having a package store, like, and again, like, I'm starting a business, right? A medical spa. First of all, it's like there's no product there, so it's not like you stole that. Like, I'm not going to run into that issue, right? But like, if I had a product and I had somebody like calling, be like, my package was like signed for, but not to, I'd be like, you're lying to me. I'd be like, that sucks. So I get it, especially if you're dealing with like Americans, where it's like, I get it. Like, I really do get it. We are not like, I would probably do the same. I'd be like, did you look for it? Like, did you sign for it? Like, I would get it. Okay. So like, I completely get it. And what's really good about all of this is that, it's been about 30 minutes into the new year, and I've only talked about slippers. And a lot of people said that was impossible. I said, you know, just give me 30 minutes, give me a hot mic, and give me two sort of lights on either side of me. Light me up and watch me go. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2026. And so this is a happy story, not a sad one, because I am still sort of looking for like that new slipper for me, for him. And I am really curious if like there are people out there. Now, the criteria is I want it to be some sort of like harder bottomed shoe, right? Like I want it to have the opportunity and the possibility to like live outside. I'm not talking like going for a walk. I'm talking like taking the trash out. I'm talking like taking the dogs out to like pee and poop at night. That's the kind of flexibility I want with this shoe. Right? It needs to have some sort of like soled bottom. I like to have a bit of grip. You know, I'm notorious for, I've slid down my own stairs here, almost broke my damn neck. So that's why I'm always in a shoe, because it can't be trusted in a sock. I know your own foot has like more grip, but as I told you, that feels a little porny to me. I'm not going to be doing that for free around my own home. No, I'm in a sock. So I do need a shoe. And so I'm still kind of looking for one. I get emails all the time from this one place called Allbirds, which there's one near where I live, and I was walking around. I walked into it. Don't like those either. They're like, after walking in a Stegman I'm like, well, that's a nice shoe. This is a bad shoe and it's the same price. Why would I even bother? It's like fluffy shoe and it's truly made of like Target fleece sweaters. Like it's not going to last you a lifetime. How about that? Right? It's not going to last you a lifetime. Not at all. And so that's where I stand. So if you know a good slipper, right? And I'm talking Ugg since 1974. And if you're Ugg since 1974, feel free to send me a pair of slippers because I've already fucking paid for them and a pair of Ugg boots. What if the truck driver isn't even an American size 8, a size 41, right? Like, I'll be furious because I had, I like talked myself off the ledge where it's like, oh, also like that stuff doesn't really like get to me because I'm always like, if somebody stole that from me, they definitely, they were on hard times, right? That sucks. But I'm not ordering anything from fucking Australia again. That strike one, Australia. Strike two on me for thinking I could order something abroad and not have any trouble. Like I said, it's probably DHL. No offense. Hopefully none taken. I'll still get things from DHL every once in a while, but it's always like wrapped in 1,000 sheets of tape. If you know, it always comes where it's like, is this a bomb? And it's like, no, it's just you ordered like something from the TikTok shop that you shouldn't have, which I remember I did an episode and be like, I'll never order anything from there. I've succumbed to the man, whatever. That's okay. I would like to move along. Right, 31 minutes in, and we're only talking about my shoes. Whoops. I would like to talk a little bit, and you'd think maybe I'd get some like audience questions and whatever. We might get there, but we also might not. I have like so many things I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Heated Rivalry. Yes, Heated Rivalry, the Canadian show that I believe just thought it would be a Canadian show on Crave television, and that's it. I don't think that they ever thought it was going to like turn into like what it was, which is, I think it's basically like the show of at least the season, if not for me, like the year. This is the one that I'm like thinking of. And we're going to just like talk generally about it. And I remember like I had seen like some promos for it. Yeah, so like this is how I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to explain Heated Rivalry to you. First of all, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it. If you haven't watched it yet, stop listening to this episode because I'm not going to save the ending for you. Okay, that's 2026, and at this point, the show came out in 2025. My spoils are not like, it's not my fault if I spoil it for you. It's your own fault. And if you've like avoided it like through the internet and whatever, like I don't know how you did that. So I'm not spoiling it, but I am saying that if you haven't watched it yet, I'm about to spoil it for you, but I'm not even going to talk that much about the show, like the plot and whatever. I'm not going to break that down. I'm just going to talk about like how it came to me and all of this stuff. So I have seen, that is true, but now I'm going back in time. I had seen some promos for it, and I had seen basically like the horniest people on the internet being like, I can't wait for this. And so that didn't really like entice me, right? That wasn't really going to hook me in to the show. And I think maybe we were like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in. Yeah, that would seem about right. And so many people were talking about it online that I was like, I have to watch it. So I'm just very curious. And so it was what I kind of thought in the beginning. And I'm going to say the first few episodes, they move very quickly. Okay. And I think that the first 3 episodes, the first 4 episodes move so quickly and all of that stuff. And I'll talk about them in a second. But the first 4 episodes, they move so quickly because they have to, it's imperative that they get to the 5th and the 6th episodes, which are like, we'll talk about those in a second. So the first 4 are basically, and I had a friend who watched it and she was like, have you seen it yet? I said, no. She said, it's porn. I said, so, I want you to know. And I know maybe I'm giving like a bad description of like what I envision as porn because I'm envisioning like, What is the like some oh God, what are their fucking names? I'm trying to think of like some like at home, like Chip and Joanna Gaines. Okay. I know like right now you're thinking like Chip and Joanna Gaines like sitting on like their barn side table, like no shoes. And Adam's going like, that's porn. It is. It's porny, but it's not porn, right? But then like I won't bat an eye at something else. I won't bat an eye at people having actual sex on the screen. And I'll be like, yeah, it is what they're actors. That's a big difference though, isn't it? Right? Somebody's getting paid to do that. Are you getting paid to show your feet on the internet? Maybe, which I have respect for. So I don't feel like scandalized. And so JP and I were watching this together, and we finished the first episode, which is like there's a lot of sex in. And I was like, that's a lot less sex than that's like less graphic than I thought it was going to be. We all kind of agreed on that. So, and it's kind of cute. Like it was like kind of fun. Like I was enjoying the show. Like I had a good time watching it. So we watched the next episode, and then we watched the next episode. And then we get to episode 5. Episode 5 is like one of the greatest episodes of television I've literally ever watched in my life. It is so phenomenal. And I was crying throughout the episode. Okay. I'm not too proud to admit that I was crying throughout that episode. It's just so well done. And the two like lead actors, Connor Story and Hudson Williams, they just like put so much tender care into their characters. It's so beautiful. They do such an amazing job. And in episode 5, there's this like monologue where Ilya Rozanov, right? Rozanov, is that right? Connor Story, he's the actor. Plays Ilya. And he has this phone call, and he speaks in Russian to Shane Hollander, okay? Who does not speak any Russian. So that's like that's the whole play. Like one of them, they're both like top level like hockey players in the NHL, and they're main rivals. Okay. Oh God, it's like now the podcast is falling off because I'm trying to explain something that I saw recently, and I have like not had to think about it critically at all. And not even that this is like I'm giving a critical review, but you know what I mean. You know when you have to like explain something for the first time and you're just like, all the details are so blurry. That's how I'm feeling right now. It's all right. It's okay. So back to me. What was I saying? Oh God, Heated Rivalry. It's like melting my brain right now. Okay. Yes. Moonlight Sonata. If you've watched the show, you know everything that I'm saying. If you've not seen it, it does sound like I'm having a psychotic break. It's like a little bit of both. It's okay. But he does, Ilya Rozanov. That's it. Rozanov. Something didn't sound right when I was saying Ilya Rozanov. Connor Story, the actor, gives this whole monologue in Russian, which he's like not a native Russian speaker. And it's heartbreaking. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And so like the whole story is about like these two like hockey players, right? It's about Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, and that they like over the course of like their entire like NHL career have been like having this sort of like love affair fling. Lots of fucking. Okay. And a side like kind of B-side story, supporting story, is that there's this other hockey player whose name is Scott Hunter, okay, who is like also gay and closeted, okay? And he goes into like this like basically it's like a Jamba Juice, but it's like the version that is like royalty free. Whatever like a Canadian show that has no budget can afford, which I think was like Juicy Juices. I don't remember the name of it, okay? The Punch Squeeze. I don't remember the name of the juice place. It doesn't matter. But like he goes in and there is this like guy. And first of all, everybody's drop dead gorgeous in the show. That's like obviously a given. So he goes in and there's a guy working whose name is Kip, right? Just like the brother of Napoleon Dynamite, Kip Dynamite, but it's not Kip Dynamite. It's like if they had like the hottest gay cousin of all time, that's who it is, Kip. And Scott Hunter goes in and he's like, they order a smoothie and Scott is kind of laying it on thick and everyone's like, I think he's laying it on thick. And then he is, and he goes back and forth and it seems like I don't know the duration of time of which he's doing it. But then like, he asks Kip out on a date, Scott Hunter, who's like an NHL player, right? Like big deal. Asks Kip out on a date. And then like from that moment, like they go on a date, they go home. He's like, can you just stay here? Can you be here like when I get home for practice? It just sort of like, he has a little love bomby. Okay. This was like the only, and I had like, and I know why they had to do this, right? Well, one, because like the author, it's like written in the book, right? I'm sure like it reads different, but I know like in the show, it feels like rushed. Do you love that I'm just like, feet are porn, and now I'm just like upset that like this television show rushed a relationship for me. And I'm going to just tell you why it feels rushed. So Scott Hunter is a closeted, like he's in the closet, has like not been in relationships or like whatever, but he's like, he's closeted and he wants to be in this relationship with Kip, who's the cashier from the Jamba Juice-ish Canadian Jamba Juice place. And, he basically is like, I want you to be home when I get here. Like he wants to do everything together, but he doesn't want to be seen with him like outside and all of this stuff. And for me, I'm just like there's a power dynamic here that I don't know what to make of it yet. Okay. First of all, this has nothing to do. This is me telling you about the story. Okay. I love both of these actors like family. Okay. I've never met either of them. But it doesn't matter. I'm telling you just like my reaction to the story, where it feels a little bit like whisking somebody off into like fairy tale. I felt like, okay, Kip, be careful of this dynamic because like Scott will get you into situations that you don't want to be in. And you'll be like, well, Scott knows better. Like that's how I'm feeling about that. Basically, it doesn't matter how I'm feeling because Kip gets to a point where he was like, listen, if you can't like love me in public, like I don't think I can do this. Okay, whatever. Yeah, fair. Very fair. So Scott's like, I'm sorry. So like, he's like, I want you to go to my birthday party. Kip says this to Scott. And he's like, I don't think I can do that. So it's at a gay bar. Scott's freaked the fuck out, right? Like he's very freaked out by that. And there's like a shot of him of like looking into the bar and just like, yeah, I wish I could be there. So basically, I don't know how it happens, but he makes it. He wins the Stanley Cup. Scott Hunter, right? Scott. Kip, like I said, he's like the cashier at a Jamba Juice. He's getting into art school. Again, I'm just like, there is a disparity in the age, which who cares? But I'm like, power dynamic, right? You're working at a Jamba Juice and you're winning a Stanley Cup. We don't feel equal here. And I want everyone to feel equal. I want everyone to feel good. I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. Okay. I'm just talking about Kip and Scott. Okay. So he wins the Stanley Cup, and then Scott Hunter has this moment where, all of the friends, the wives, the girlfriends are coming down. They're all like kissing their partners, and it's like this amazing like jubilee on the ice. And Scott finds Kip, who like for some reason was still getting tickets to go to the show. I'm saying show. It's like a fully the Stanley Cup Finals. And he like is like, come down. And this is where it's like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't care how we got here, as long as we fucking got here. Scott Hunter brings Kip down, and like you can hear like the PA announcer on the show being like, oh, there's a lucky fan. Little do they know. So Scott brings Kip down and he kisses Kip mid-ice. It's amazing, right? It's just like, it's such an amazing moment. And why episode 5 is so good is that like throughout this, like in the beginning of this episode, we touch a little bit on like the Scott and the Kip of it all. Like they were heavy on in like episode 3, I think. So then we go back to like to Shane and Ilya in episode 4. And it's so good because so then in episode 5, before we get to the kiss, there's a moment where like Shane gets hurt and Ilya meets him at the hospital, and Shane is like, please come to my cottage and don't go to Russia. If I had a nickel. Whew, if I had a fucking nickel, don't go to Russia. Every time I've told that to somebody. Anyway. And he's like, I can't do that. Maybe. And so it's like, he's just like, Shane is in the hospital. He's out of his mind. Okay. Like he's hit concussion city. And so then at the end of the episode, they see Scott fucking Hunter making out with his boyfriend mid-ice. And so Ilya calls Shane right away and he goes, I'm coming to the cottage, because he invited him to the cottage. Did I say that? I'm saying it now. And so it's like after this kiss, the episode could have ended and I would have been, that was amazing. But it ends with Ilya saying, I'm coming to the cottage. No questions fucking asked. Flawless. It's a flawless episode of television. And the episode 6 is like all about like being at the cottage, and Shane's dad finds Ilya and Shane there, and he sees them kissing and whatever. And so Shane has to come out to his parents and all of this stuff. And I'll be honest, this is like my honest, like thinking of the story. There's a coming out story, and then there's like this story of like secret romance. And I feel like they're two different things. I feel like Scott Hunter and Kip, like that's a coming out story, which is very like period piece, right? Because I think like the timeline of this is like 2015, which like people aren't out in no gay people lived in 2015, by the way. Nobody was gay. You weren't allowed to be gay. That was before Stonewall even. That was like Marsha P. Johnson was like that. She was 2016. Marsha P. Johnson was 2016. Stonewall had not happened in 2015. 2015, we were... I'll be honest, in 2015, we were sort of doing like YouTube reveals of like, I'm crying to my dad to tell him I'm gay, but I'm going to record it. Like that's when we started that pandemic of like, I'm going to record myself doing like traumatic and like very like jarring things. So that's what's happening in 2015. People are not out in it's like, yeah, you should be closeted. You absolutely should. It's dangerous, right? Like it was, yeah, like that's crazy. So like that's the timeline. Like 2015 is like a wild time to be like, should I come out of the closet? Should I kiss my boyfriend after winning the Stanley Cup? Like that's when we think of the timeline of 2015, like that is a wild time to do. People were not doing that. Okay. People were, I mean, it's even crazy to think in 2018, I was the first openly gay person to compete for any, like that's crazy. Okay. That's 2018. We're not even talking, but that's like later than that. So like I said, hush, hush, do not tell anybody you cannot be gay in 2015. And they are. And so like, this is just like a different time. And so I see like that, like that's a coming out story. 2015, the coming out story of this whole thing is like Scott and Kip. I don't really see Shane and Ilya's as like a coming out story because it's scandalous enough that these are the two best players in the league, right? Because I even think like when I'm thinking about this and like if it were like in a real situation, I'm not even thinking like, oh my God, they're in love. Ew, they're gay. Like I'm not thinking that because I'm totally okay with it, right? Like I have no problem with gay. I don't. And that's kind of the honest to God's truth. But like I am just thinking like this is going to be really scandalous because now everybody's going to question anytime, just like Shane's mom did. Did you ever let him win? She let him off the hook quite easily with that one, right? You guys have been in a relationship for almost 10 years, right? You've been fucking for 10 years and you've been calling yourself your each other boyfriend for the last 20 minutes. I'm at the cottage. Like I'm telling you like what's happening like in the cottage times. And it's like people are gonna question everything you've ever done. Anytime you've ever played, did you guys talk about that? Did you coordinate that? Like this is a huge scandal and nobody's gonna give a fuck that you've been having sex. They're not gonna care. They're gonna be freaking out that you guys could have been plotting or planning against them. That's crazy sports people talk. And that's that's like the honest truth. That's to me why like this is like, yeah, who cares if they're gay? Were they cheating? Like were they planning? Were they plotting? That's what's going to get people fired the hell fucking up. right? Like nobody's going to give a shit that they're gay. They're going to give a shit that they like that they're colluding, something like that. Like that's when I see that, I'm like, oh, the gay is like so irrelevant here, right? Let Scott Hunter and Kip the cashier, like let them deal with it. That's gay. What you're doing, that's scandal. That's completely different. You're doing a scandal, not doing gay. Like I said, gay is the juice. Jamba Juice, Canadian Jamba Juice. That's gay. Scott Hunter, he's gay, queer as folk. Shane and Ilya, you're in trouble. You're going to be in trouble, right? You have a lot of explaining to do. That's just sort of, and that's why I feel, and that's why I love it. Like that's because it's not even about being gay. It's like that's scandalous on its own, right? Like that is completely scandalous. And it's like the secret relationship and like whatever. And it's just like, yeah, it's amazing. It is an amazing show. And I have to say, like, I was blown away by it. I think it's one of the shows that I'll remember, like, throughout, like, it's one of the best shows that I watched all year, if not the very best show. And I don't think, like, and like I said before, like, I don't think it was meant to be or had the intention of, like, we're going to be the best show. Everybody involved in it, Scott Hunter, Kip Grady, I think, like, his last name was, Shane Hollander, Ilya Rozanoff, all of them, like every person put so much like tender loving care into their character, and it just came through. It was just, and the director was like amazing. Like it really was amazing. You'd never know that like they had such a limited budget that it wasn't even going to come out on HBO until the very last minute. That's where the magic is, right? Like it was beautiful. I couldn't recommend it more. Could absolutely not recommend it more. I'm going to go back to like why it's like scandalous for a second. Cause I have, and I actually send me your intrusive thought of like what you think about that. I think I'm right. This is me attempting to prompt a question to the audience, get a grip. But you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have any questions about what I'm saying? If you do, like, please, you can call or text the podcast. 310-909-7117. First time we're saying that in this year, and it feels really good. But yeah, I think it's also different in like, because it's a team sport, right? And it's not even, and like, it's just, there's so many layers to it that make this like so juicy. This is why this is not a gay story. This is like Watergate. Okay. Like this is craziness. But yeah, like given that timeline, like being gay, it's like, you don't do that. No, you pray that away. Like I said, Marsha P. Johnson, it was like that. No. Stonewall was like, when you said Stonewall in 2015, it was like, no, you mean a wall of stone? No, you don't mean the hotel. You don't mean the marches. They didn't happen yet. They did not happen yet. They did, but like, you know, it was just sort of like, that's good that it happened, but like, let's not talk about it. That's what I mean. Like, that's what it felt like in 2015. 2015 was like a wild time. You could be gay to your friends, but you had to kind of be like, don't talk about that, you know? And, you know, it was what it was. The kids these days do not know. Because I also saw a lot of discourse of like, why would Scott want to be like closeted and whatever? It was like, yeah, because it was like, people would get fired from jobs. Right? Like you'd get fired, and they'd be like, no, there were people like, come on, 2015, get real. 2014, it was when the Olympics were in Russia and there was like gay propaganda, whatever the hell that means, was just decided to be called illegal. Get a grip, Putin. I hope I'm the first person to say that this year. Get a grip, Putin. I'll say it again. I'd say it to his face. I don't care. Like I said, in this year, I'm not giving a fuck. The art of not giving a fuck. You need to not love your job. You need to job your love. That was the last thing I saw before I started recording that video, and I went, lobotomy. trending lobotomy. Anyway, this has been an amazing episode, and I did not get to like any voicemail. I have something so insane in front of me that in our next episode, we're going to be talking about New Year's news me's. Can we also get clarification? Is it New Year? Happy New Year. For the life of me, Happy New Year's. What are you doing for New Year's? Right? It's Happy New Year. What are you doing for the new year? I think I really need to kind of like confirm and solidify my language on that, because I just whatever. We're going to be talking about the New Year's resolutions. Is that correct? Who knows? Well, no, I'll never ever get fucking clearance on that. Whatever. Actually, let's look it up, because now people are gonna be in their car. Is it New Year or New Year's? Let's see. Okay, use New Year's with apostrophe for holidays, eve, day, resolutions. That's exactly what I was going to get to. New Year's, plural, for multiple holidays over time. It says in brackets, rare, no shit. And New Year, lowercase, no apostrophe, for general period ahead. Okay. But you always say Happy New Year. It's not Happy New Year's. Okay, I knew that. But New Year's resolutions. Okay. That's what we're going to be talking about in our next episode. I'm going to prompt people on Instagram to send me some of your New Year's resolutions and things that you're putting on your vision board, because what I have right here, it's in a folder. I'm shaking it. Can you? Okay, I have a folder. It is a vision board that I've put together. I'm not even going to say anything more about it because there's so much to say about it. But we'll be talking about that in the next episode. This was just sort of like let's break the ice. Let's get back into the swing of things. If you've been listening to the show, you know that we never got out of the swing of things, right? It's always 'tis the season, right? It's the reason for the season, and we never took a break, and we never fucking will, because we're not lazy, and we're not being lazy. And we're dressing up and we're stunting out. I actually also, if you watch the podcast on YouTube, God forbid, I don't ever watch podcasts, but I know a lot of people like to. And so I do record myself doing it, because it's like pull a clip, when do I post those on Instagram? Every blue fucking moon. I forget to. Podcast one, don't get mad at me. You can't. It's the new year. You can get mad at me by March. But it's easy to like post a clip, promote the pod, whatever. You get it. But that being said, like I have the camera sort of like at an angle where I'm like, am I stunning? Like I'm looking at myself, because I'm doing front facing camera where I can like see myself, and I'm going, this is it. Like I found the angle. It feels good. Can't wait to like, maybe I'm being blinded by like the lights that I have on, and maybe I'll look like Quasimodo when I turn this off and go, what was I thinking? Who knows? I don't know. I don't really know. Anyway, it feels really good to be in this new year with you. We made it through our first calendar year together, which is absolutely amazing. I remember that I did the photo shoot myself. Photo shoot, I say that like so loosely, for the cover art of this podcast on January 1st or on December 31st of 2024 or on January 1st, 2025. I think on New Year's Day I did it. And I was like, this is one of my goals this year, is that I do the podcast and I do it all the way through the year. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself that I have. And I'm really grateful for working with a great team on it now, who like they do all the editing and everything, which is like so amazing, because I would go overboard. If you've listened to the first few episodes of this, it truly sounds like you're in like a video arcade hell. I was truly obsessed with like the sound effects. Whatever. I was having like a bit of fun. Is that okay? I recorded through like the LA fires. Okay. So I was a first responder, basically. Yeah, I mean, if I could record through that, I can record through fucking anything. But I'm proud of myself that I made it through the whole year, and it just feels like this feels just like something I do, right? Like how many podcasts can one man have? And I'm grateful for all of them. I'm grateful for, if you're a figure skating fan, I have another podcast called The Run Through that I host with my very good friends Ashley Wagner and Sarah Hughes. And I'm doing another podcast that I got asked to do, my new favorite Olympian, which is an NBC podcast. It's a limited series, right? Okay. It's not like, how many hours can you just talk to yourself? First of all, if I can do a podcast on my own, talking to literally, let's look around. I look to my left, I look to my right. There's nobody fucking here. I think I can handle one where I have like something to talk about. And I'll tell you that, like, when I first started this, I didn't know if I'd be able to, like, I didn't know how hard or easy it would be. And I'll say that there are some episodes where it's just like, I have a lot to say. There's some where I don't. And it's just sort of like, okay, well, how are we going to make it through this? But I do feel like I've gotten into a great rhythm. And I'm so grateful for everybody who does listen to this. And I want you to know, because right now I'm like in a reflective mood because I'm recording this in 2025, but like you're hearing this over the airwaves in 2026. And that's what's important. So I want you to know that I was leaving 2025 in a grateful state of mind. And I'm entering 2026 and I'm ready to fucking kill it. Get ready. Get ready for me all over the place in 2026. I feel like I'm going to have a great year. Do you want to know something crazy? I'll talk about it next time. It's fine. Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. But yes, make sure that you tell me all New Year's things. I want all of your New Year's intrusive thoughts. What are your resolutions? What are you doing differently? What are you thinking? How are you feeling about 2026? I'm feeling like it's going to be a great year. I'm being totally upfront and honest about that. I really am. And I've always kind of felt like 2026, I'm feeling like good about. 2027, I'll be honest, I'm like, whew, I'm feeling nervous for, but I don't know. 2028, ooh, that's going to be a good one. 2027 is going to be a good one too. I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to put that on 2027, but I'm feeling great. We're going to do, honestly, we're doing one thing at a time. Okay. We're going to do 2026 first, which I'm feeling great about, which is a great way to enter the year. Oh, I just thought of something I want to talk about. Somebody I'm turning. I honestly could probably like sit down and just like do another episode. I'm writing something down that I want to talk about in the next episode. It's a person's name, somebody who I'm turning on. I'll share it. I don't care. Okay. But that's, neither here nor there. It's next week, actually, on the next episode of Intrusive Thoughts. Like I was saying, there are some episodes where it's like harder to do this. And then there are some where it's just like, damn, I could just like go. And I'm feeling like I could go right now, but zip it. We're saving it for next week. We have a lot to go over. We'll be talking about New Year's resolutions, as I have mentioned. Make sure that you call or text the podcast hotline and leave me your intrusive thoughts about this upcoming new year. That number is 310-909-7117. Write it down, call it. That number's in my Instagram. If you do not have a pen and paper handy, save it into your phone. Text it whenever you want. Anytime you have a good thought, let's just text me, right? Why not? And again, Happy New Year. I'm very grateful that you're here. Happy to share my intrusive thoughts with you. I hope that you had a great New Year's Eve and that you are entering 2026 on a very positive note. And I hope that this episode gets you into the right frame to have an excellent year. I know that I'm going to have a great one. And I think that we're all going to have, I think anyone who listens to this podcast is going to have an excellent year. I'm claiming it. I'm calling it. And that's it. My name is Adam Rippon, and these have been my intrusive thoughts.